President-elect Donald Trump has long accused Democrats of weaponizing law enforcement. But in yet another naked display of projection, Trump has gone and picked someone to lead the FBI who has pledged to weaponize that agency on his behalf. Mere minutes after we went off the air last night, Trump announced that his advisor, Kash Patel, is his pick to be the next director of the FBI. Never mind that current FBI director, Christopher Wray, whom Trump appointed 7 years ago after firing James Comey over the investigation of Russian influence in his 2016 presidential campaign, has 3 years left in his 10-year term. Kash Patel is a former federal prosecutor who sat on Trump's National Security Council in his first term. Trump tried to install Patel as the deputy director of the FBI before leaving office in early 2021. But then Attorney General Bill Barr was having none of that. In his 2022 memoir, Barr wrote that he told then Chief of Staff Mark Meadows that Patel would get that job, quote, over my dead body, adding, quote, Patel had virtually no experience that would qualify him to serve at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency. Before Trump pulled that stunt, he planned to install Patel as the deputy CIA director in December 2020. And when then CIA Director Gina Haspel got wind of it, she threatened to resign. This time around, if confirmed by the Senate, Patel would be working alongside other MAGA allies, people who might be counted on to go along with the pro-Trump purge Patel has been plotting for years. A purge of the so-called deep state that not only includes government officials, but also journalists.
We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections.
Democrats are already sounding the alarm about Patel's threat to national security. The Senate Judiciary Chair Dick Durbin today called Patel a, quote, unqualified loyalist and warned of Trump's efforts to politicize the FBI. With the exception of North Dakota Senator Mike Rounds saying today that he has, quote, no complaints about current FBI Director Christopher Wray, other Republicans appeared to have no problem at all with Patel's promises of purges and retribution. Republicans like Senator Bill Hagerty of Tennessee.
I've encouraged President Trump to bring Kash Patel to the table for precisely this reason. There are serious problems at the FBI. The American public knows it. They expect to see sweeping change, and Kash Patel is just the type of person to do it.
And then this from Senator Ted Cruz, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee that will conduct Patel's confirmation hearing.
I got to say, all of the weeping and gnashing of teeth, all of the people pulling their hair out are exactly the people who are dismayed about having a real reformer come into the FBI and clean out the corrupted partisans who sadly have burrowed into senior career positions at the FBI.
The motto of the FBI is FBI. Fidelity, bravery, integrity. Its number one mission priority of the FBI is to protect the U.S. from terrorist attack. Number two is protect the U.S. against foreign intelligence, espionage, and cyber operations. Excuse me. With his selection of Kash Patel to run the agency, Trump is signaling more clearly than ever that he couldn't care less about any of that. Joining us now, Megan Hayes, former special assistant to President Biden and a Democratic strategist, and April Ryan, senior White House correspondent and Washington bureau chief for The Grio, an MSNBC contributor and author of Black Women Will Save the World and Anthem. We're going to be talking about that later on in the show. But Megan, April, welcome to the Sunday show. So to get your initial reactions to the Kash Patel appointment, since you're a former Biden administration official, what in the world, your reaction to Kash Patel getting this plum job?
I mean, one, I hope that the Senate does their job and does confirmation hearings, and some of his retribution aspect of his career comes out and his thoughts about that. But also, one thing that seems to be really resident here is every person that he's appointing, their main characteristic, their main qualification is that they are loyal to him and are going to carry out his retribution against people like journalists and their political opponents, which is just That is not what the FBI is for. That is not what our other agencies are for. So it's horrifying that this is what our government is now coming to.
Yeah.
And April, I mean, we played it there, Kash Patel talking about going after journalists. And I mean, you're still covering the White House, but you were there for Trump 1.
And I'm going to be there for Trump, too.
You're going to be there for Trump, too. So how concerned are you as a journalist having Kash Patel potentially in that spot?
Well, first of all, let's wait and see if he is confirmed by the Senate. That's one. Two, he is loyal, but he also, as you said, espouses the philosophies of Donald Trump. And Donald Trump wants to have a press room that is more broader than the mainstream. It's broad with the kind of reporters he had last time. A lot of conservative reporters, those who were not just conservative reporters, but bloggers, etc. And
for some of those folks sitting in the briefing room, reporter is doing a lot of work there.
Yes, and also columnists. Let me say this. For those who are in that room, who are true to the First Amendment, the freedom of the press, the first line of questioning an American president without fear or favor, you know, we have to be there. But now this is where the White House Correspondents Association and the incoming president have to do their work. Because typically what happens, and I was a former board member, so I'm speaking from knowledge, we would look at the seating chart to see who would come, who's not there, and if they were raising their hands even. And we would look at the seating chart and say, okay, and work with the White House with this. Right. It sounds like Donald Trump and Donald Jr. are trying to change that room, but let's see how it plays out. But what I'm going to say is that many of the journalists need to lawyer up right now.
On your point about the briefing room, these journalists, if they are saying don't have access now, they could have access. They could apply. I work there. We approved it by people to have day passes all of the time. They could be in the room if they wanted to. They're choosing not to cover the president, which just shows you that they want to cover someone that is that they can carry favor for. They're not there to cover journalism in the same way that you're in the briefing room or that you have a show. Yeah,
every day. But you know, at the beginning, it's new, it's shiny, it's that shiny object. They come in for the first few weeks. That room is not it's not the West Wing. It's not Scandal. That room is tough. I'm telling you. And to sit in there every day, day in and day out, just listening about the mood of the president or different things, it takes a lot. Mm-hmm. And I believe they'll come in, but I don't think they're going to stay the long haul for 4 years or 2 years.
They're not there to cover policy.
Right. But let's
you said it, I did.
Well, let's bring it back to Kash Patel because, you know, this is the guy, if he becomes FBI director, though that's who the journalists in the room, we're all saying should fear. But let's listen to Mike Lawler, Congressman Lawler of New York on CNN today. He is more focused in his comments here about the investigators inside the FBI, because that's when it comes to journalists, it's retribution. When it comes to the folks on the inside of the FBI, that's called the purge, also retribution. But listen to what Mike Lawler has to say to those folks.
Look, I don't think the American people are interested in a revenge tour. But obviously, if people did wrong in their official capacities, then that's something they should be concerned about. But if they didn't do anything wrong, if they upheld the law, then there shouldn't be a problem.
I mean, Megyn, this notion that if they upheld the law, they have nothing to worry about, that means that, to me, Mike Lawler believes all the conspiracy theories out there that has led us to having, Trump picking Patel as the FBI director.
Well, I think that one of the main characteristics of the FBI should be nonpartisan, and they are now making it partisan. And the agents who have worked there their entire careers, who have spent their life dedicated to law enforcement and to protecting our country, are just going to be thrown out with the bathwater because they want someone who's only going to carry out their mission, which is to go after the deep state and to go after people who rigged the election, which everyone knows was not rigged. So it's creating a partisan agency and law enforcement, which is just unacceptable.
The FBI is supposed to uphold the Constitution and U.S. laws, right? We're hearing wrong. If you did anything wrong, if you did something wrong, you've got something to worry about. If you didn't do anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about. What's the definition of wrong?
Thank you.
The definition of wrong versus I'm like, where's the definition? Okay, what's wrong versus what's right? Is it the Constitution or is it Project 2025, or is it this loyalty test, this litmus test? What is it? What is the definition?
Well, I think we know the answer to that, and it's always been open. It's always been open to interpretation,
right?
But that interpretation had as its bedrock the Constitution and fealty to the law. We've got a cast of characters who've been nominated or chosen for positions who we don't know whether they have fealty to the Constitution, but we do know they have fealty to Donald Trump.